Welcome back, everyone, to British India, or the East India Company. And yeah, so basically, what the fuck? Oh yeah, right. We're just building up railroads and doing things. Oh, the Sunderbund War. Oh no, that's a Switzerland Civil War. Yeah, I think it's like about centralization, essentially. So yeah. And if it looks like the economy is going into the crap, don't worry. It's just that Victoria 2, whenever you load up, is kind of derpy. Oh, what? The British ticket? Oh, they just annexed Nagpur. Okay. Thank you for giving me Nagpur. And yeah, just random Portugal demand concessions are noticed. And yeah, like for example, he's like, what the fuck is going on? But then you just got to like do this and it's like, oh no. And yeah, so basically it's just, don't worry, if it looks like if it's all going into the shit, it's just the game being stupid, essentially. Yeah, in fact, I kind of like to have a little bit of money, so yeah, give me that shit. All right, anything interesting going on? Some people doing things, people getting allies, stuff is happening, but honestly not that interesting. So yeah, I think I'll just be going up a little bit, and the goal this time is to, well, again, try to support the Brits as much as possible and see if we can expand. I know there's some interesting wars going on. There's also going to be some interesting things going on in Europe very soon, such as the Hungarians. The Hungarians have risen up, and we get medicine, which is really, really good, because what? This thing gives us plus 25% supply limit. Why is that really good? It's because the supply limit is going to let us support bigger armies on the field, which in the future might get to be pretty damn useful. And yeah, so apparently Neuchâtel, civilized nation republic in the sphere of Prussia, satellite of Switzerland. Okay. Wait, where's there Liechtenstein? I thought I had abolished these fuckers. See, there's supposed to be a decision over here that's... I guess it's too late for me to do it. Yeah, at the beginning you have a decision to annex all the like micronations into someone, which to be fair is a really good idea. Anyway, so the Hungarians are rising up. The problem is the Russians are gonna kill them, and most likely there's gonna be like uprisings and stuff everywhere else. Yeah, liberal agitation. So you know, some kind of Jacobin uprisings. And in France, we're going to have the rise of Napoleon III, most likely because they are Bonapartiste over here. So while they're a republic, it might not be for much longer. And yeah, we're just going to be sitting around here in India, doing our business, fortifying up everywhere. And yeah, when things are happening, I'll be telling you. Oh, looks like the Sikh Empire has decided to go for another round. The Second Anglo-Sikh War, and we're gonna have the Sikh Empire become a puppet state of the UK. Weren't they supposed to be one already? I have no clue, but let's go kill them. Obviously. And here they come, you know, doing their stuff, sieging their places, but you know, we're going to be faster at sieging. And, ooh, we got combat medicine. Now, another mechanic that I didn't talk about are inventions. Now, there's two tiers of technology, you could say, in Victoria 2. There's tech that you research, and then there's inventions that are sort of sub-techs that get popped up automatically. By your, sort of, by the scientific community of your country. Get researched based on the technology that you have. So, and the technology and also other, there are also like other requisites other requisites for the researching of some of these, not all of them. And some requisites that you have are going to increase the chances of you getting that. So like, for example, if the average consciousness is around or at least 3.0, you're gonna get dogma of violence, and that's gonna do a bunch of things. Some of them, as you can see, are quite you know, you could say complicated, and not all of them are like literally inventions. Like, for example, if we take a look at like culture, you see that there's a lot of theories, you know, philosophical theories, all that kind of stuff. If we take a look at you know, industry, it's obviously a lot of industrial processes. Sometimes it's also like famous inventors, such as you know, or famous inventions such as Edison's light bulb. If we take a look at the army, you can see that it's generally doctrinal things or usage of weapons. For example, if you research machine guns, you get machine gun armament, which is like representing you actually supplying your army with that, and the chance is increased for you being at war. Another important one is where the fuck is it? It's really, 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 really important. It's one of these. Maybe indirect artillery fire? Oh, there it is. Military directionism, gas attack capabilities, which is just like ridiculous. But yeah, basically, it just kind of represents the actual spreading of the ideas that have been researched into your country, which give you most of the actual bonuses. So like, for example, if you take a look at the medicine tech that we just got in chemistry and electricity and industry, we see that the actual tech gives us 25%, and that's just applied instantly. Thank you. So now we have the whole Sikh Empire, because we just annexed it. Yep, that's pretty good. That's some pretty free real estate right there. And yeah, so if we took a look at that, you see that that gives you 25% supply limit increase. But if you get all the inventions, you're gonna get a bunch more things. And as you can see, like gray light bulbs means that we don't have the requirements to invent this invention or to use this invention, while you know, lit light bulbs means that we get all the requirements to actually invent it. Although, for example, here we have a 0% chance to get anesthesia, because to get chances, we'd need to invent organic chemistry, which is further down the line. And then green are the ones that you have already researched. So you can see that there's just a shitload more bonuses that you're gonna get. So techs aren't quite as sort of straightforward. There's more to it than meets the eye, like Transformers. Anyway, now that we have taken over... What the fuck? Oh, that's interesting. We're gonna take a look at that in a bit. Now that we have taken over Punjab, or Punjab, as it might be, I don't know, we actually get to use their soldiers. Now you might know, you might have, you know, heard me explaining that in this game, every unit that you recruit is actually like a unit of population, or a pop, that you call up for service. So it's something that exists within, you know, the game world, and the economy as well. What the fuck? Oh, just a bunch of random Southeast Asian wars. So one thing that you can do is you can conquer a country and then use their populations as soldiers. So yeah, but of course, as I said, it is relatively dangerous to do that, because their militancy is probably going to be higher than our own provinces. So if we take a look at the Punjabs, you know, minority culture, monthly changed, nationalism. Now, nationalism is a modifier that's applied to newly conquered regions, which sort of just means that, like, you know, they're just generally more angry at you. And it just goes away with time, but we still have the nationalism. And if we take a look at our, where is it? Our rebellion indicators. You can see we have a bunch of rebels that could possibly spawn in. We can see that we also have some Punjabi patriots that have 3.7 rebel power, which is higher than some others. Or Kashmiris are also around, but Kashmir usually gets released by a decision of the UK. Anyway, with this really good decision, breaking the Chinese tea monopoly. The Chinese hold an almost complete monopoly over tea production and trade. Trade of Chinese tea seeds or its cultivation secrets remain banned under Chinese law. And although we can't change that, we can steal their secrets. In a first stage, we could send the botanist Robert Fortune to steal seeds and the secrets of production from the Chinese. Possessing the knowledge and the seeds, we can start spreading the tea production in India with incentives and concessions. This will increase the chance of the secrets and subsequently tea production spreading over to other parts of Asia and the world. But tea is one of the most consumed beverages by company citizens, well, or rather British citizens, and it grows in popularity all around the world. Tea trade will be extremely profitable for our country. So, that's actually what they did in real life. They went in and stole, essentially, production techniques. They did industrial espionage before industrial espionage was a thing. So now we have our own... Where are the RGOs? We have our own tea production provinces. Now, some of them... Like, okay, so earlier on, it was all the tea in the world was Chinese. Now, there is a slight belt of tea in India, and I believe as the game goes on, there's going to be other areas around here-ish that get, you know, get their RGOs switched to tea. Now, RGOs is just the game term for sort of resource gathering operation, I think it's supposed to be. Yeah, resource gathering operation. That sounds pretty good. Essentially, what resources are produced in each province. There are many things that can switch one region from producing one good to another. Some of them, as you can see, are decisions. Some others, for example, are related to technology. Like when people start to research, like combustion engines and stuff like that, people are going to start to discover oil, because they're looking for it. And as countries in Asia get get more civilized, they're going to start to discover coal in their regions as well. Sometimes it's just kind of completely random. Like there's some provinces that can just randomly switch from one type of production to another. They can just do that. There's something within the game coded in that lets them switch if like an event fires, just like randomly. Like, for example, some provinces can get Gold Rush, an event called Gold Rush, which obviously it switches the resource gathering operation to, you know, gold. Like, for example, in Australia, it happens fairly frequently, but in other countries, it can happen. So, yeah, that's basically that. Prophylaxis against malaria. That sounds really, really important, considering where we are. I actually don't know if there's malaria in India. I'm like a really ignorant person. Holy shit. Anyway, all that aside, and as you can see, they've released Kashmir. So that's why we didn't want to mess around too much with Kashmir, but we do have a railroad that runs through there, which is kind of hilarious. I'm pretty sure it doesn't really, like, it's just a cosmetic thing when the railroad runs from one place to the next. You just get the bonuses anyway, because they're applied to the province rather than in a trans-province basis. That's not how this game works. Anyway, we're gonna start to fortify the things as well, because there's some nasty people around here, such as the Pashtuns, but that's never going to cause any issues. You know, this area of the world, and yeah, it's never going to cause any crisis or any long and incredibly, you know, complex wars. Anyway, since there's not much else for me to talk about, I think it's time for a whoosh skip ahead. Oh, this might not be good. What the fuck? Oh, it's the Crimean War. Okay. Okay, bro. So, yeah, we have a Crimean War on our hands. Now, Afghanistan seems to have extricated itself from the British sphere. But, you know, the Russians are sort of dangerously close. They're in Kulob, which is just right above Kunduz, which is just one province from Chitral, which is where we are. So the great game is real, and if they do decide to try to murderify us, you know, I wouldn't be the most happy man in the world. Oh, looks like the Crimean War ended quite quickly. And, well, I mean, probably because the Russians left the Turks alone, and now I guess they can just annex the Caucasus, because before it was just like Baltiski Gubernia. It was just a Congress Poland. Holy crap. Presidential dictatorship, royal faction. Really now? Wait, how the presidential dictatorship? How the fuck is that even possible? Congress Poland is supposed to be a monarchy. I don't even know. So, wow, we have 11% literacy. That is not expected. Oh, no. Tax the middle class. Yeah, there we go. 50% taxes on everyone. Looks to be plenty enough to sustain our treasury. Good. And yeah, poor Congress Poland stands literally no chance against the bear or whatever. French Empire. Yes, here we are. So the Frenchies have decided to turn Imperial. Ooh, wow. I like how they only have a level 1 railroad in Paris, which is, you know, less than what we have in India. So that's, I guess, the good parts about being British or something. I don't know. But yeah, that was a disappointing little Crimean War, to be honest. I'd have expected it to be a little bit more, you know, a little bit more fought out, yeah. But, oh well, who cares? Oh, big news from China. Looks like we have the Heavenly Kingdom, and it's a small Heavenly Kingdom. RIP. Oh, what the fuck? We gain a place in the sun against the French Empire. Ooh, oh, we should have taken that earlier too. All pops in the East India Company become 5% more in favor of Jingoism. That is insanely good. Now, we can't see that yet. But once, well, if we become like independent at some point, cough cough, we are gonna have a political system, and a political system means that people are gonna have, I think they're called like issues or something. So as you can see, all these ruling parties over here that are possible, you know, all the different types of court of directors, they have different policies on certain, you know, issues. Like trade policy, you can be free trade or you can be protectionist. Pretty straightforward. If you are free trade, you have less tariffs that you can do. If you are interventionist, or sorry, economic policy, which can be interventionist, it can be laissez-faire, it can be state capitalist, or it can be planned economy. Religious policy, aka secularism or moralism, or pluralism and all that kind of stuff. Citizenship policy, which is just, you know, the rights of minorities and immigrants. And you can either, you know, try to limit it or whatever. Limited citizenship, all these things. Then there's war policy and welfare policy. Now, welfare policy is just kind of derpy. War policy, though, is very, very important because Jingoism allows you to do a bunch of nasty things to other people, essentially. Like, when you're at war with someone, you can add war goals, which is a mechanic where like you're at war, right? And you go to war by justifying a war goal, which is going to give you a war goal. So like, for example, what right now, let's take, for example, the Persian conquest of Kievan, Turkmenia. Now, Kievan is this thing over here. The Persians have declared war on Kievan with the war goal to acquire Kievan, Turkmenia, which is a state. It's this thing. Yeah, it's these two provinces, Gurkanich and Merv. But let's say they want to take everything. So they also want to take Kievan, Uzbekia. Well, then they need to fight the war and be winning for a bunch, obviously. And then they need to click on their war opponent, in this case Kievan, and there's this button, add war goal, which is going to allow them to add another war goal, in which case it would be Conquest, most likely, but I'm not sure if it exactly works that way. In this case, maybe just make Puppet, which is going to make you pay the full infamy. Now, infamy, if you go over 25, people get a casus belli to dismantle, well, not to dismantle you, but to quote-unquote cut you down to size, which means that basically they Versailles you. So like, you know, think of what happened to Germany after World War I. That's basically cut down the size. You're limited in the amount of troops that you can recruit. You can't recruit troops for a certain amount of time, and you need to pay a lot of war reparations to, you know, everyone that used the war goal against you. So that's supposed to represent like you over-expanding too much. If you're just justifying a war goal, or if you receive a war goal through an event, you don't need to pay the infamy, or you get a certain amount of infamy given to you because by RNG you get discovered justifying a war goal. So jingoism is what allows you to add more war goals when you're already fighting a war. Oh shit.